Just the other day, I received a phone call from one of our more enthusiastic viewers, a college student. He goes, Colin, I need an example of a bunch of black people bullying a handicapped person. Well, that was pretty easy, right? I mean, he didn't have to call. I mean, I was happy to give him some. I was happy to point him to some videos on our facebook.com/WGBleedALot page. That's where all of our videos are. All you got to do is go in there and press video, press handicapped, enter handicapped under the search function. Bam. But those are pretty easy questions. I mean, didn't we just go through the big news cycle just a few months ago? Where 4 black people kidnapped, tortured, sodomized, threatened, did all, and those are just the speakable things they did to a white kid. Didn't we just go through that?
Alonze Thornton says his grandmother lives in the same building where this shocking video was broadcast on Facebook Live Tuesday.
This right here, he represents Trump.
Showing a white teenage victim with mental health issues being abused by 4 black individuals.
Actually hearing about it word of mouth that it was in the area and actually coming here today knowing that it was here it's appalling.
The suspects face a slew of charges, including aggravated kidnapping, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and hate crime. The judge denied the suspects bond Friday and scolded them in open court, saying, "I'm wondering where was the sense of decency that each of you should have had."
I do want to say that. Sorry to the family. Sorry this happened to the family.
One family member of the 2 female suspects, who are sisters, apologized outside court. Inside, the suspects showing no emotion, even when prosecutors described their alleged every move in open court. From suspect Jordan Hill picking up the victim at this McDonald's in a Chicago northwest suburb on New Year's Eve, to Hill allegedly beating the victim before these cameras started rolling. Once they did, according to prosecutors, Hill even asked for ransom.
The defendant, Hill, communicates with the victim's mother and demands $300 ransom in exchange for getting her son back.
When a neighbor called police, that's when prosecutors say the victim got a window of time to escape. Neighbors tell us that this is the house where the abuse happened. They also point out that on the same night, there was a separate fight. The blood from that fight still remains. A tough neighborhood in a city that is no stranger to violence. And now, a call for justice for a teen who police say is still traumatized by the torture he endured.
All you have to do, and if you don't feel like going to my Facebook page, all you got to do is go to Google or DuckDuckGo, type in autism, assault, handicapped assault. Tell me what you find. Now we come to another story, another example of an autistic kid at school subject to relentless racial bullying. Relentless black on white harassment, taunting, threats, violence, surrounded by lots of other black people who think it is very, 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 very funny to beat the piss out of an autistic kid after torturing him for weeks. Well, what do you call threatening, pushing, shoving, taunting somebody? That's called torture.
Well, according to the National Education Association, more than 160,000 children miss school on any given day because of fear of being bullied. One West Columbia parent is trying to prevent her son from becoming part of those statistics. Jessica McCormick says her 14-year-old son is suffering at the hands of a relentless bully at Airport High School, and she says she has the evidence to prove it. Caroline Hecker reports.
Jessica McCormick says these 12 seconds are some of the hardest she's ever had to watch.
I was horrified. I mean, it's hard watching your son get beat in the head and kids laughing in the background and then having it sent to me by another student.
The fight, the end result of weeks of bullying and harassment, according to Jessica. Her 14-year-old autistic son and the other boy, both suspended for getting in the fight. But that's where Jessica says the school district has dropped the ball, not ensuring the boy stays away from her son.
My child has to be there 8 hours of the day with these people. I entrust my children to be safe there. If they're not doing the proper things to make him safe, then how are we as parents supposed to send our children to school?
The district says it has a zero-tolerance policy for bullying, and following up with complaints after disciplinary action is critical to stopping the cycle.
You try to set up some type of system to where the student that was bullied and the bullier are away from each other, not given the opportunity.
McCormick says that's all she's asking for, but feels the district hasn't delivered on its promise. The district says it's unable to comment on specific situations. In West Columbia, Caroline Hecker, WIS News 10.
The school district also says it will investigate any student who posts pictures or videos of any bullying or harassment to social media. They too could face possible suspension.
I wish we could give the mom a pass here, but we really can't. We really can't let the mom get away with saying, hey, school, you're in charge of my son now for 8 hours. For 8 hours a day, I will relieve responsibility. I will relieve myself of my responsibility to protect this child and give it to you. Oh, I don't know you, but I'm giving you the most important responsibility I have. No, I'm sorry, the world does not work that way. That's your child. You are responsible. You're not responsible for complaining about him being in danger. You are responsible from keeping him from that danger. Huge difference. Talking about it is not the same as doing it. Capiche? And now we got the principal going, or that guy from the school district going, well, we're going to make sure we keep them apart. Translation, we're not kicking anybody out of school for this. Translation, we couldn't keep them apart the first time, but we promise we couldn't keep them apart for the first, 100 times, but we promise we'll do better in the future. But what about the end of that story? I loved the end of that story. Is that not only, we're not really going to punish that black person who harassed, threatened, tortured, and beat that autistic kid. No, we're going to start going after people who take pictures of it and tell the rest of us about this ridiculous level of black on white violence in schools. Oh yeah, they are the ones we have to go after. Because they're at the tip of the spear. They're the ones letting us know what's really going on behind these ridiculous statements that, Colin, our schools are safe. This is isolated. It never happens. And we are not going to let one event define that child's life. Colin, we can't send him to prison. That would be criminalizing him. But what about the victim? What victim? The white kid, the autistic kid. We're going to have restorative justice, Colin. We're going to have him hug it out. I'm not making this crap up, people. That's how dangerous these schools are. That's how ridiculously foolish these administrators are. That's how much trouble that autistic kid is in if his mom doesn't get her head screwed on straight and stops worrying about making the black kids angry.